Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bored and Annoyed. I am home at the movies.
And I'm Jackson.
And Jackson, don't stop me now, because I'm having a good time.
Oh, yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, yep. This week we're discussing Bohemian Rhapsody, in case you didn't get that.
Yes.
Bored and Annoyed. But as always, we're going to go into the news first. So, being the Marvel guy that I am, I'm going to share the Marvel news first.
Okay.
So Bucky and Falcon are reportedly getting their own series.
Okay, so Bucky, I find an interesting character. Falcon does nothing for me. So
I think the problem with Falcon is that we have literally like no backstory
so maybe
on him.
They could make him good. Yeah, sure.
And Anthony Mackie is a charismatic actor.
You love that Anthony Mackie.
Dude, he's awesome, man. He's so likable. It's fucking ridiculous. But it's a limited series. It's going to be on the Disney streaming service when that comes out.
Have you figured out if they're moving the Netflix shows or the, I guess, 2 that they have left over to?
I sincerely doubt it, because those weren't under Kevin Feige's control. Those were under
those
the
are
TV.
like an outside thing. Okay.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they tried to find success by being like, oh, we're part of the movie universe. Yeah.
Which, by the way, we're not going to talk about it, but I've only got 2 episodes left in Daredevil Season 3,
right.
And you all should watch it. It's good.
Yeah.
And we'll have that episode coming pretty soon here.
It's a marked improvement over just about anything they've done since Daredevil Season 2.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. But actually, speaking about those, well, I mean, are you excited? Well, you said you were excited about seeing Bucky's past.
Sure.
The thing that gets me excited, and I don't want to go into spoilers here, but I mean, we could see the end of Captain America. And in the comics, both of these characters have taken up the mantle of Captain America after Steve Rogers has died.
I'm not going to consider that a spoiler since it hasn't happened in the movies.
Right.
So if it's not in the movies, I don't consider it a spoiler. And so I'm intrigued by that.
Right. And we don't know. I mean, he could just retire or go back in time or whatever.
Or he could get picked up in a helicopter like some other character who was leaving a franchise recently and just disappear into the nothingness.
See,
but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. But but I mean, you know, he could be gone. And there was this fantastic series that was written by Ed Brubaker, who was actually the one who brought Bucky back as the Winter Soldier. And he did a really long run of like 4 or 5 years or something on the Captain America series. And he did it where Bucky took over, but Bucky he's a newbie, and Falcon's kind of like showing him the ropes. Like, hey, you know, that's not how Steve would have done it. And it's kind of like this, like, well, I got to find my own way to do this kind of thing.
Right.
So, you know, it could be cool.
Okay.
We'll see how that turns out. But
either way, I'm excited for the streaming service.
Right.
Something to check out.
Well, I mean, they got this. They got The Mandalorian. Apparently, the Scarlet Witch series is going to have Paul Bettany as the Vision in it, too. That's the rumor now. So I'm like, I mean, then you got the Loki series. You know, I mean, we don't even know what they're going to do as far as Disney cartoons that are going to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Disney. I mean, this is the more and more that I'm hearing about this, the more this is seeming like a must purchase.
Sure. Why not? I mean, they own every fucking property that you could think of.
Right. It's true. It's true. But I mean, going to continue on the Marvel TV topic. We got our reason for the Marvel cancellations. So apparently Iron Fist and Luke Cage both lost 2/3 of their viewership from season 1 to season 2. And now Daredevil is reportedly has lost 57% of its first week viewership from season 2 to season 3.
That's so annoying because those shows hurt Daredevil.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
I fully
because
agree.
I had no interest in watching Daredevil until you told me it was worth watching.
Right.
Like, honestly, I loved it. Like, when it came on, I'm like, oh, this is going to be this fucking awesome thing.
Right.
To get excited about. And by the time this 3rd season dropped, I was just like, I am struggling to work up the energy to even want to watch this.
Well, you're burnt out because it's all the same. Like, all the Marvel Netflix shows are the same.
Yeah, it's the only good one.
And it's the only good one. And they had this long pause of giant turds in between season 2 and season 3.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just let me just refresh myself here for a second, see what came out in the interim between season 2 and season 3. So we had Luke Cage, which was We had Iron Fist, which was a big. We had Defenders, which was also another one of those. Jessica Jones season 2, Luke Cage season 2, and Iron Fist season 2. That's a lot of shit.
And that's a lot of spit on our little pop filters that you just had from those.
That's why we have them. Call them the spit filters.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Dude, that's because it's actually good. If you've given up on the Marvel shows, give it a shot.
Yeah.
I will say this. We're not going to talk about it, but Wilson Fisk is just the fucking best.
Yep.
I mean, what he carries the show. I mean, it couldn't not be good without.
I wouldn't say he carries that. Charlie Cox as Daredevil is great.
They're all fine.
Okay.
But he is awesome.
Well, what it is it shows that it's an equation. You need a good villain to complement your good hero.
Correct. Because otherwise you'd have like all these characters. There's like you'd have them fighting against this thing that you don't care about the conflict whatsoever.
Yes. Yep.
Wilson Fisk is just fucking great.
Yep.
And I mean, nails the look of the character. Just he's great.
I mean, it's
D'Onofrio.
Yeah, D'Onofrio is freaking great. I look at the shows and I still sometimes like it's not much of a spoiler, but he gets a penthouse in this season, or he has a penthouse,
right?
And they show it, and you're like, yeah, it looks pretty nice, but this is a TV show budget nice. Like,
yeah, you're right.
I would expect him like if this was a movie. It'd be like,
it'd be
Tony Stark level sort of shit.
You know, it's funny because I would say the second best season of anything they've done outside of Daredevil would have been the first season of Jessica Jones.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, pretty good villain in that one.
Yeah, great villain.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a clear formula here.
Yeah.
Don't just shit something out and think that you don't need a story. You can just have these characters. Like, I think Luke Cage is likable. The Iron Fist dude, I don't like at all.
I just hate the fact that everything's the same. They're all same.
Dark, fucking.
Yep, I get it. You're all tortured and sad.
Well, and there's problems in this latest, even in Daredevil now.
Yes, yeah. But Daredevil is the one that tone really works
good. If
for.
it would have just been that, it would have been fine.
I mean, he's a
They should have just never made this other shit.
He's a self-hating Catholic. I mean, it fits perfectly as a guy who grew up Catholic.
Right.
But we're going to get into sequel news real quick.
Oh, God. This one is disgusting. Gladiator 2.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Wait. It feels disgusting. Sorry, you just said it.
We've talked about Ridley Scott on this show. Mm-hmm. The man has lost his mind.
I would agree.
This is fucking ridiculous.
I don't know. I mean, what do you do here?
Apparently, it follows Commodus's nephew. So the chick... from her son who was like obsessed with the Spaniard or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, that's the character.
Really?
Played by that little fucking kid who I hated and I don't know if he probably won't play him again.
Right.
But he was like in Unbreakable. Mm-hmm. Just hate that kid. I do. I just fucking hate that kid. He's too soft. And you didn't look at that character and go like, oh, he's going to be a warrior someday.
But that's the trick here. Character arc. You're going to show him as a kid and he's going to be all, whoo, Gladiator. Yeah. And then he's a grown-up man and he's Russell Crowe.
How desperate are we? And I will see this because Gladiator is like one of my favorite movies. Right? It made me a huge Russell Crowe fan. He's my favorite actor because of Gladiator. Mm-hmm. But what the fuck?
Yeah, Gladiator is just an amazing movie.
It's so good.
It's ridiculous. Though Hans Zimmer ripped himself off with the
he nailed it with Gladiator.
He
so
really
good.
Did.
Actually, I heard that he is doing the theme to the new Top Gun.
Yes. Yes.
So a little sprinkling of news on top of the news.
Oh, they're getting a rewrite on that movie too.
Oh, of course they are. Well, they've been casting it every week for like 2 years.
And then they pushed the release date back a full year. But I mean, getting back to Gladiator too.
Yeah, it's madness.
Okay. So
the two best characters that like were awesome are both died.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'd rather see? I'd just rather see Russell Crowe in the afterlife dealing with being dead.
There you go. Yeah, more interesting. Or, well, okay, so the only character I can think of that like you can bring back besides the woman and the kid would be Digimon Hansu's character. He was alive.
Digimon?
Is that how you say his name? How the fuck do you say his name?
I thought it was
Jimon.
I was Jamin Hansu.
Both of us are gonna fuck it up. I just say it how it looks. Okay. Hey, hold on. G-off? You're about to give me crap, Mr. G-off Johns? All right, stop
That's
it.
true. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know how to say his name, but he's alive.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, he's alive.
I would love to see that, actually. That's a better movie to me.
The Afterlife of Russell Crowe.
He's fat in the afterlife, so he doesn't have to get in shape
No,
again.
how about you just don't make this movie?
Yeah, no, it's a terrible idea.
Right. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. He's a madman. It's time to just take away his
toys.
He can't do anything.
He's been bad. He needs to go and sit in a timeout. Alien Covenant.
Oh.
Get out of here. You're done.
Oh, my goodness.
You're done.
Yeah.
But
and then Austin Powers 4.
Yep, Austin Powers 4.
Now, this I would be excited to see just because I'm not going to go in with any sort of lofty expectation. I think it could be funny.
This does not make me Randy, baby.
Oh, really?
It does not make me Randy. It makes me the anti-Randy.
Oh, come on. A little Austin Powers comeback. You throw in smartphones and shit, and he's trying to,
Look, I had enough of Mike Myers in Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't need any more Mike Myers in my life.
He was in Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Austin Powers 4.
I already said my piece about parodies in one of the previous episodes, but Austin Powers ran out of steam by the second one, in my estimation.
I like all three. I actually like 1 and 3 better than 2.
See, they all blurred. I can remember 1, but 2 and 3 blur together for me.
3 had Goldmember and Austin Powers Faja.
Yeah, and wasn't Beyonce in that one?
Yeah, Beyonce was in that. She was terrible.
I thought she was awful.
Yeah, she was terrible. But who cares? It's Austin Powers. Ugh. Seth Green lost his hair, man. He's going to be the new Dr. Evil.
We just don't need this. I'm like you on Gladiator for this. It's done. Let it die.
Yeah, but it's not offensive if they make it.
No, it's definitely not offensive.
Whereas Gladiator 2 is like, are you if it's not good, if it's somehow good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to shit my pants.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I have a certain thing about trilogies, and when you go beyond a trilogy, because then you get into like the Rocky sort of feeling and
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
that's a good example.
It just gets ridiculous. You're like, Pirates 6, like really?
I know, it's stupid. And now they're rebooting Pirates. Apparently,
and they want to get rid of Depp.
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Good, fine. He seems like he's losing his mind.
Yeah, I agree. Next piece of news, though.
Well, we're not done with sequel news yet.
What do you got now?
Bad Boys for Life.
All right. I don't think I ever saw Bad Boys 2 the whole way through. I think I've seen bits and pieces. I've never been a huge Bad Boys guy. Is Michael Bay directing?
No, he's not.
Oh, wow.
What you gonna do, Jackson, when you watch Bad Boys 2?
You mean Bad Boys 3? Or am I going to watch 2 before 3?
Are you going to watch 2 before 3?
Probably not.
They ruined. See, I have my thing about trilogies, but at the same time, you ruined the perfect title for Bad Boys 4. Bad Boys 4
Oh,
Life.
because that's what they're naming this one.
That's what they're naming this one.
That doesn't make any sense that they did that. You're right. From a marketing standpoint, that is
terrible.
asinine. They should have made 2 movies. But, okay, how do you feel about Michael Bay not helming this one? I feel like this is like this is a Michael Bay... Like, he's okay at these.
Look,
this is what he was born to make.
I've had my fill of Michael Bay, for the rest of my life. If I never need to hear another stupid line about, somebody being a racist caricature or look up this woman's skirt, I'm fine never seeing that shit again. I'm good.
Yeah, but Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they chew that
silly.
Up pretty good.
They're
silly. Exactly.
But they can be silly without Michael Bay. They got the talent, man.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to go ahead and give that an F years before it comes out.
Well, what should we do? Like a plot prediction? Like, what are we?
I don't know, because I can't I can't get involved. I don't know enough about the franchise.
Oh, because you haven't seen the second one.
I know Martin Lawrence was like the goody two shoes guy who had like the family and shit.
Yeah.
And then the other one, and I'm blanking on the character's name, but like I remember Martin Lawrence.
Do their characters matter? Like really? It's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, Will Smith is like the like badass
cool
like
guy.
single guy
Yeah.
trying to pick up Tia Leone in the first one.
Well, and then he hooks up with in the second one. He hooks up with Martin Lawrence's sister.
Okay. Yep. And that causes friction. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What an original idea.
Yeah. So they're going to be married. They're both going to have kids.
Okay. So it's like they're old men now. That's
I bet
it's
that's
like
what it
Lethal
is.
Weapon 4 style.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
we're too old for this shit kind of thing.
Wouldn't it be great if they said that?
Wouldn't
just
it be
like
great
a full-on...
if Danny Glover and Mel Gibson just like it was a shared universe?
Okay, Jesus Christ, you just saved this movie for me. I'm not even kidding.
There you go. Hey, now that I would be intrigued in. If they can get Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, I'm not even talking about Bad Boys, but if you can get those two back in a room together to come back and do another Lethal Weapon, I'm there just for the spectacle of it all.
They're riding in scooters.
Yeah, I mean, Danny Glover hates Mel Gibson because he's said all the racist shit he said over the years.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I want to see that movie.
I'd just rather watch the outtakes of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to just keep going. There's so much news. There was
All
so
right,
much
what's
news
next?
this week. Did you see the picture of Henry Cavill as Geralt?
I did, and it looks like a bad cosplay to me.
Right.
It looks terrible.
I'm like, why did you release this picture?
No, it does not look done. It looks like his Halloween costume or like a test. Honestly, it does not look good.
It does look like a what do they call it? A camera test.
Yes,
Like
right.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks awful. He looks like Legolas's like steroid
He doesn't
induced
look
brother.
old.
No.
Like if the character, I don't know the character. Geralt, you said? That's his name?
Geralt, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know the character either. Isn't
Yeah,
it great
like
that we both
Digimon.
don't?
Like Digimon. Yeah.
Yep. I'm just going to sprinkle in the Digimon theme throughout the entire episode.
Well, hey, at least I didn't think that Freddy was British because of his last name being England.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll get to that at the end of the episode. That's what we're going to end this on.
Ewan McGregor was cast as Black Mask in the Birds of Prey movie, which is the one with Margot Robbie and all the DC women heroes.
Okay.
Black
Whatever.
Mask is a gangster. He's an American gangster. So, I mean, have we ever heard Ewan McGregor actually do like an American accent before?
I don't know.
I don't think so. So this is going to be a first, maybe.
There's got to be something he's done an American accent in.
Yeah.
There's gotta
The
be.
Island, was that an American accent?
No, I think he was just Ewan McGregor, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Hey, that's a Michael Bay movie that
That
I
is a
don't
Michael
mind.
Bay movie.
I kind of like that movie.
I can't remember
It's
if
a good
I like
idea, that movie.
It's a better idea than a
Than
film.
it is a movie, yeah,
probably.
right.
But, well, that's all of Michael Bay's
Sure,
movies.
that's true. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Hey, he's got nothing else to do.
Yeah. I mean, he's just basically like...
He's just waiting for someone from Disney to call to tell him to do his Obi-Wan movie. If he ever...
Right. Well, I do find it a little weird because I feel like I've been noticing we've been seeing actors go into camps like the Warner Brothers camp and the Disney camp. And it's kind of like, well, he did Christopher Robin. He's got the Star Wars connection. I thought for sure he'd just do like a Marvel superhero movie. So it's interesting to me.
Well, if it was the old studio days, the old school,
Right.
he would have signed a 3-picture deal with Paramount Pictures. You know.
Yeah, and they'd all suck. Keeping on with the movie news.
Jesus.
Yep, we're almost done. Don't worry, the pain's almost over. Adi Shanker, who's behind the Castlevania animated series for Netflix, he also was behind that Extreme Power Rangers short film.
Okay.
He is, they haven't revealed who, but the rap is saying that he is possibly talking to a Japanese video game developing company for developing a series based on a legendary character, which has a lot of people thinking it's The Legend of Zelda.
Well, so I had read somewhere that there is a Zelda series coming, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And
Netflix
so someone's putting the pieces together
Yes.
to say this is the guy that might do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen his Extreme Power Rangers video?
No.
Okay.
No,
and you
I
haven't
haven't.
started Castlevania yet?
I started Castlevania, the Netflix anime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not into it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. I thought I was alone.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
I didn't finish the first season. It was only like four
episodes. Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
But that could just be me in the genre. I don't know.
No, I'm an anime
it's just
guy,
not
and I'm
good?
saying this is
Okay.
weak. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want him to do it. I want Zelda to be. I mean, you can have elements of dark, but this guy is dark and extreme, and put in the fuck word and blood, and the Power Rangers got hooked on cocaine. You know, it's like no. I want Zelda to be fun. Zelda is a fun romp, and it's an adventure, and it's swashbuckling, not extreme and drug use and fucks.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
I would agree. I think Zelda, if the perfect Zelda series would find a way to have Link not even speak.
Yes, I completely agree. And he's just a mute.
Yeah. Well, and like maybe you write it in that he's a mute. Maybe you just somehow creatively create a show. I mean, it sounds difficult.
It would be very difficult to do it the latter way. I feel like if you write in that he's a mute, I'm not in love with the idea, but I think it's interesting in that it's never been official that Link is a mute.
Correct, but he also does make sounds.
That's true.
He goes like, ah! Yeah, right. So yeah, he just grunts throughout the whole show. But no, I want a live action Zelda in some form. I cannot believe it hasn't happened.
Right.
I can't believe it.
Wait, what? Okay. You know what I want really is I want him to be silent, but I actually want him in every action scene. I want them to use those sound effects.
Oh, Jesus. From like the old cartridge, like the N64 cartridge.
Yes. Yes.
And then when he runs into or all of a sudden the fairy comes out of his pocket and goes, hey,
listen.
Oh my God. No, please don't do that in the show.
I want it so bad.
But yeah, no, that's a great idea, a Zelda series. You know what we should do? One of these episodes, we should just pitch a Zelda series. Both of us come up with an idea for a Zelda series.
I like it. It's on the docket now.
There you go. I like that idea.
But last piece of news speaks to The Walking Dead.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, your boy is getting some movies, apparently. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
So this is going to be the end of the news. We can just take this into the shit we watched or whatever.
This is the bridge.
All right. I was embarrassed for them watching that episode the other night.
Really?
It was so fucking dumb. So the end, I told you in our last discussion that the last episode ended with like kind of the setup of him being injured, where like he's got one group of zombies coming down one road and another group at another road, and he's at like he's
fucked.
Trapped.
Yeah.
So the horse gets scared and bucks him off onto this thing. Okay, so he gets up from that, and this is the beginning of the new episode, and he gets on the horse and looks to the right, and there's a third road that he goes down on the horse. Now, I don't know if this was shown in the previous episode, but I immediately was like, well, wait a minute. Why the fuck did the horse get scared? Why didn't the horse just keep going down the third road?
Can I just say that I love the fact that you can just feel the writer's room in that one? They're like, all right, so how do we get out of this? There's a third road.
Well, that's just it. It's like, it's totally possible that I missed something. It's possible. But even that logic doesn't work through, because he never would have stopped. And like the horse wouldn't have bucked him off. He wouldn't have fucking gotten hurt. And then the episode is like him going from place to place. And like, as he keeps falling asleep, he keeps dreaming of different old former characters who are dead now, who come and have conversations with him. Now, I was surprised that Herschel popped up, because that actor just recently died. So that was kind of nice to see him, the old dude. But yeah, like Shane pops up, the dude who played the Punisher in the Netflix show.
Right.
And then the character fucking lives. He didn't even die. And I was just like, this is a joke.
Yeah, how do you like the fact that it was literally false advertising?
I felt like it was. I mean, they never said he was going to die, but they said it was his final episode. Okay. Now,
That
Andrew
means-
Lincoln, you mean to tell me I'm supposed to believe that you have like 10 more seasons of this show planned? Okay, as he's got his movies,
Right.
whatever. He never is going to be back on the show. You're lying. Absolutely lying.
Put a pin in this, everybody. If he doesn't come back, they will have not lied, and you can't sue. But if they say his last appearance and he comes back, even for a
Everyone
cameo,
sue.
they can sue. You can sue.
It was so bad. Okay, there was a silver lining, though, and you're going to like this because we've talked about this.
Okay.
You know, we've talked about the lore and how you need to evolve, like the
Right.
zombies, new threat, whatever.
Right.
So at the end of the episode, there's a time jump forward, like 6 years or something.
Oh.
And now the baby is kind of like at Carl's age when he started the show,
Okay.
which was Rick's kid. And she's wearing the cowboy hat and shit. Now, they fast forwarded and then they showed clips from the next 3 episodes, and apparently the plot is that the zombies are evolving and getting smarter and shit.
Oh.
Which is finally like, wow, something is happening with the
Thank
zombies.
God.
So I'll be interested. I think it's still going to be a dumpster fire, but they're doing something.
Thank God.
They found, and what's funny is they didn't do it naturally. They had to cheat. They had to go, oh, we'll just time jump 6 years.
Sounds about right for this show.
Oh my God.
Sounds about right for this show.
It was disgusting.
So now the zombies have become the White Walkers.
That's kind of how it seemed. Yeah.
Oh, you know that one really popular show that everybody likes that has Walking Dead things?
Let's rip it off.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So that's yeah. That's about all I have to say about that. It was fucking terrible.
Every time you talk about this show, I'm just so happy that I never
That
started.
You don't watch it.
It just sounds like such a time sink.
It's terrible.
I mean, but if we're going to talk about time sinks,
Okay.
I started another Marvel show.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Which one?
There aren't any left. I didn't. I
Okay.
just wanted to get that reaction from you.
I was going to say, I wouldn't doubt there's one left.
That's true.
I wouldn't.
Oh, wait. No, okay. I never saw The Inhumans.
Okay.
Do you have anything else from shit you watched this week?
The only thing I want to say is that I went and saw Ghost 3 times in the last week.
That's fucking nuts to me.
So I had bought tickets for a show in Chicago and a show in Madison, and then they sent me tickets to the Halloween show because they were nice enough to come back and finish the show.
Right.
And he gave like a nice little speech to the guy's family who were in the front row and shit. The guy
That's
who died.
awesome.
Yeah, it was great. I met the lead singer in Madison. I did the meet and greet,
Wow.
which was a fun experience because you're walking up to basically a cartoon character.
Right.
Like he is not. He's a character.
He's not being himself. He's playing the
Right.
character that he. Okay, wow.
But man, they're fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I had a blast at all the shows. I would say the Milwaukee one was the best because it was just kind of everyone was just in like a very happy mood to be there and celebrate this guy
Right.
who died's life and whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that was great. I do have a digital copy of Prequel, the latest Ghost album, to give out. So
Wow.
if you private message me the word rats, you will be entered to win on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever.
Cool.
So if you hear this and you want it, send me a message and you'll be entered to win.
At Bored Annoyed.
At Bored on Twitter, Bored_Annoyed on Instagram, Facebook, just search Bored and Annoyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, any one of those things. If you want a free copy, if you don't like Ghost, that's fine. Don't enter, whatever. Or if you know someone who likes Ghost who wants a free digital copy, I know we're kind of in the pirating age, so those don't have the status or value that they used to because people can just kind of go steal it. But
I hate that, if I'm honest.
it's true though. I mean,
it's true. I just hate it, though.
theoretically, the band put up every song on YouTube, which I don't understand why they do that. But then I guess you have to use data, whereas
Yes.
having something yourself is better, I would say.
You have to use data. And I'm pretty sure, considering it's YouTube, they still probably get ad revenue
That's
from
true.
it.
They get revenue.
So-
That's true. But yeah, if you want that, rats, send it to me. Or email it, coupleofdudes@boredandannoyed.com. Other than that, shit I watched. I didn't watch much this week because I was watching Daredevil. But you probably watched some stuff.
I did. I Well, one, it wasn't shit I watched, but I created a little music video for one of my favorite bands, The Midnight.
Yes, and I watched it, and it's good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So if you guys want to check that out on YouTube, it's Home at the Movies, HOMB at the Movies. Yeah, it's just, I love this band. I sent it to them. They were like, oh yeah, we love this. This is great. Yeah, just check that out. Just a shameless plug.
We love shameless plugs around here.
That's all we are, really.
Yeah. And shameless plug, podcast plug. Podcast Emeritus is a ghost podcast that I started listening to.
Oh, okay.
I wish I would have thought of this because it's the only one.
Oh.
So clearly I'm going to listen to it. But
Right.
yeah, check those guys out. Pretty neat idea. They just talk about ghost. They've got like 10 episodes or something.
Oh, cool.
Although that's not shameless because it's not ours. Right?
No, that's not
It has
shameless.
to be ours to be
that's-
shameless.
That's an altruistic plug.
Yes, that's a giving. Yeah, that's the opposite of shameless.
Tis the season, Jackson.
Yeah, it is.
It is the
Actually,
season.
on Sirius, one of the channels I listen to, like I turned to it the other day, they've turned it into the holiday music channel already. Like November 1st, it became...
No joke. I saw a Christmas ad on Halloween. That was just awful.
Our world is just ending.
It's just
the end
ridiculous.
of the
It's like
world.
we just skip over Thanksgiving. It's like we have clear demarcations here.
That's true.
Like you have a holiday. Just go to the next one.
Is Christmas music also Thanksgiving music, though?
You can play my book. You can play Christmas music on Thanksgiving Day,
Okay.
not beforehand.
Okay, I like that rule.
Yeah, I have strict
And even
rules.
on Thanksgiving, if I heard Christmas music, I'd be like, "Oh, that's nice." Like,
Yeah.
tis the season.
Yeah, tis
it
the
feels
season.
like that. But
Yep.
if it's a week before that, I'm
Nope.
not. Yeah,
Nope.
you're right.
Nope. Pisses me off then. Has the opposite effect. Tis not the season.
Yeah, all
But
right.
the only thing that I had for shit I watched, I was actually quite busy with other things this week, was I started watching Castlevania Season 2 on Netflix.
Oh, that's a thing now. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they got Season 2, and Season 2 is much, I think it's 7 or 8 episodes.
Okay.
As opposed to Season 1, which was 4.
Yes, I remember that was super short, and I still didn't get through it.
Yeah. It's very mediocre. Basic premise is that Dracula, he has a wife, she gets killed, and he decides, I am going to declare a war on humanity.
Right, I remember that.
And there is Trevor Belmont, who is like the character that you played in the game. And then there's Alucard, who's Dracula's son, and they're trying to stop Dracula. And Dracula's got like this, and you don't see this in Season 1, but he's got like this horde of like vampires with actual personalities as his generals.
Okay. Yeah, no, there wasn't that. There was a lot of flying creatures
Yes.
going around eating things,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
So my favorite part of the show is Dracula himself. He is the most interesting character. He's got the best voice acting out of the main characters in the show.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That he would be the best. I mean, unless the main character was good, which it sounds like he's...
No, I find Belmont to be... it's one of those shows where I find a lot of the characters end up sort of bleeding into each other. They all sort of have a sort of a similar way of talking and a similar sense of humor.
Right. There's not much differentiation. Between,
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Belmont, it's like, no, go further with this whole like drunk samurai sort of idea of like, he doesn't want to be a savior, but he is because of his family lineage or whatever. Go further with that. Make him a little sillier, make him funnier, goofier, whatever.
Right.
Right now, he's just boring.
Okay.
I find the animation at times can be great because they need great animation for the action sequences. But overall, the animation is very cheap because they have very detailed characters, which limits how much time you can spend animating. So the animation, the actual fluid nature of the animation is very static. And I don't like that.
Right.
It's very anime where you've got like
I remember feeling like it was like a set background.
Yes.
That was just like a matte painting almost.
Yep.
And it's almost like you have those little like drawn things that you would use on like oh God, what the hell was that? The thing they put the slides on when we were like in elementary school.
Oh, right.
Like
yeah.
to I don't even fucking remember.
But I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's
But
called.
yeah, you
either,
just
but-
have the little things and you just put the shapes on and you have them
Yep.
move around.
Yep. It's I mean, it's not quite that bad.
No, but that's kind kind of like, I don't remember being blown away by it by any means.
There was one bit in particular in one of the episodes. There are some characters and they're walking down some stairs and they're all sort of clumped together.
Okay.
But one's in front and two are in back and they're all on different steps, but they're all going up and down at the exact same time. So it's almost like
so it's super like that's just laziness, amateur hour shit.
Yeah. I was quite disappointed. I find the voice acting to be probably the worst thing in it because it's disappointing.
They don't have much life, those characters.
No. I haven't finished season 2, but where I'm at right now, we have spent basically the bulk of the last 2 episodes with Dracula, and it's been, I don't want to say great, but it's been a huge improvement over spending time with Belmont and Alucard.
Okay, that sounds more interesting.
So I was not happy with season 2, and now I'm like,
it's okay.
It's okay.
You know what's funny? You bring up voice acting, and I would bet you that this Red Dead Redemption 2 that Rockstar Games just came out with, I think it was second most copies ever sold in a year, the second highest grossing media period for a weekend or whatever, the record it broke, like behind Call of Duty or something.
Because Red Dead is a cross-platform game.
Sure, yeah. So it made fucking a ton of money,
right?
But yeah, no, the acting in that, I've been playing it.
Yep.
That's another reason why I didn't watch much this week.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's crazy. It's like a real story. It's like playing a fucking movie.
Yep. I mean, it reminds me of it's this is sort of an asterisk, but PS4 had their highest selling what was it? What do they call it? What's the games where they're only exclusive?
Was it God of War or something?
No, it was Spider-Man, actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But it was God of War
before that. That had a story, too, though.
Yeah. And you're talking about this voice acting.
It's pretty good.
God of War is fantastic voice acting.
Yeah, I really like,
Spider-Man has fantastic voice acting.
Yeah. This game is crazy.
Oh,
it is the level of detail and the shit you can do. Like if you just horrible things.
Right.
It's just like Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
Only you're on a fucking horse.
Yep. I played the first one. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, they're fun. There was I know there were a lot of people pissed because there's this one clip on YouTube of this woman she's trying to get the vote for women or whatever.
Okay.
And he just comes up and punches her in the face. And it's just wow. You can, and of course it's a video game, so I would venture to guess that the vast majority of people who play it play it like assholes, because you can't be an asshole in real life.
No.
So you get to go into this world and just be a fucking prick.
This might put me on some sort of watch list or something, but Grand Theft Auto 4, I would just find people that kind of looked like the person that pissed me off that day, and I just beat them up. And then just run away.
He's talking about middle-aged women. He's talking about his mother.
Actually, I don't think that they're going, wow, that's terrible.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure your mother's listening. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
Alex would never.
I would never.
Right.
Just fat people. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, that's all the shit I watched.
Yeah, me too. Movies, then.
Yeah.
When you dance the dance of another, you make yourself in the image of its creator.
I feel like I'm not even here yet.
Madame Blank's incredible.
1, 2, 3.
The way she transmits her work.
You have to decide, what is it you want to be for this company?
There's more in that building than what you can see, Doctor.
Suspiria. What'd you think?
This was a weird experience. I know that it's based on a classic film
from the 70s.
From the 70s. I believe it was Italian, actually.
Yeah, Dario Argento directed the original.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've never seen that original one.
Right.
That he did. I've heard it's great. He's kind of a well-respected, former Italian filmmaker. I think he might have been tagged on when when Dawn of the Dead moved over to Europe and it was labeled zombie, I think he must have like overseen like the European cut of that movie.
Gotcha.
And his name was on that. So he's a pretty big deal. So yeah, I went into this with no like expectations. There wasn't a big thing. Like I wasn't comparing it to anything.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. Like, it was weird because I'm like, you know, there's things that don't make sense to me here, but I can't walk out of this and say it's not well made and that it's not entertaining and that I wasn't quite intrigued at times.
It was a weird experience in that, so they had these clear act breaks. It was even weird because they didn't have a title screen at the beginning. They just said like 6 acts and an epilogue.
Yeah, so you knew as you were going into each chapter.
You
like,
knew how far you were into
Right.
the movie, which I actually feel like works against the movie. It makes it feel longer because you're like, oh man, we're only in act 4.
It didn't, you know, it's funny. It's a 2.5 hour long movie. And I mean, it's long. And that was one thing I thought was like, okay, this is too long. But then again, I thought more about it and I'm like, it felt long, but it didn't feel like one of those like Transformers 5 long. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
I kind of agree and I kind of don't, because I felt like the first 2 or 3 acts were really strong. And I felt as it went, I started feeling the length more because I'm like, okay, let's get going.
Get to the point.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And like, you're right. It's well made. One of the things that stuck out to me was at the beginning, they shot things in very different ways. So you've got that scene. Actually, I'm not going to go into specifics because we're
not in spoilers.
free.
Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't show you characters' faces. They would show you like their shoes, or they would show you like what they had in their cabinet, or stuff like that. And it was very sort of strange in that regard. And I thought that everything was framed well. I thought the pacing of the scenes in the beginning was really good.
Right. No, I would agree.
But like I said, as it went, and I did love the title breaks in between the scenes, even though I felt like
there's a little more being added.
Yeah, because they had these they had these chords that were being played on a piano that you'd see what the chord was, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then it changed over time as the movie went along. That was pretty cool. Acting's great.
It was really well acted. The 2 main ones, Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton, were both awesome. I did not realize that Tilda Swinton was the old man until I got home. And maybe you're just learning that from me saying it, but it is fun. I knew there was something about, like, I thought maybe it was a younger actor in like old man makeup or something, but she's just fucking phenomenal.
Okay. Here's the thing. Now that you've confirmed that for me, because I was like, this is not an old man.
I
know
weird,
this is not an old man. And it was with the voice. And I'm like, to her credit, I didn't think that it was a woman.
No, me neither. No, I didn't either.
But at the same time, I'm like,
odd.
This is not right.
Well, and she also, we'll wait till spoilers.
It was the prosthetics, though, on the face.
Yeah, there was something off about it, but I mean, at first I was like, okay, maybe they got a young actor, whatever. Right. Maybe they're doing the Prometheus thing with what's his name.
Yeah.
But then within like 5 minutes, I was like, okay, whatever.
I let it pass. Yeah, right. I got over it.
But no, and then it was weird that Chloe Grace Moretz was in there.
Yes.
As the girl, like the original girl who basically went and saw this doctor, and she's great too. Yeah, she's great too. Yeah, and then there was Mia Goth played like the friend.
Yeah,
she was great.
Yep. Yeah, I thought all the acting was really good.
The plot basically, just to sum it up quick, would be American comes to this, highly touted dance school in Berlin, East Berlin, I believe
East
it
Berlin,
was.
1977. So the Berlin Wall is up,
and there's kind of like a coven, not kind of, but there's a coven. It's not a secret in the movie.
Yep.
That run like of witches and witchcraft and shit.
Yeah.
Running this dance school.
Yeah.
So that's the plot.
Yep.
Right.
They almost make you at the beginning for like, act 1, as they say, they almost make you think that it's not. They could, because they make you think that a character is nuts.
Yeah, but you kind of know that she's not, because you know what kind of movie you're seeing, right?
This is true. This is true. My thing is just like, you know this about me. What's the message? What are we trying to say? What's your metaphor here? And I got like lots of hints at it, and as the movie was going on, I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this, but how are you going to tie this up? How are you going to end this in a way where you're really saying something, or you're giving credence to character arcs or anything? And it doesn't really end in that way. So I would say the ending, though unique, and I think probably well made for what they were trying to do.
It was fine. Lots of CGI in the ending. Did
not work for me.
Okay. What would your grade be then before we get into spoilers?
I'd probably give it either a C plus, B minus, like, because it's just the writing and the acting and the cinematography are all very good, but I felt like it just loses steam. I'm giving this an A minus. I'm not surprised.
I really liked watching this. I thought it was like fascinating. It was funny because I got out of the movie. I went and saw it with my buddy Aaron, and I get out of the movie and I'm like, I really like that, even though I don't exactly know what they're going for, but I'm very intrigued and I want to watch it again at some point. And then, we kind of like texted back and forth about it.
Right.
And I'm going to throw his, now we're in spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw his explanation for what he thinks into the podcast here. And he'll appreciate this because he listens. So basically, he's saying, I think the way to understand the movie is the protagonist is a female version of like a Christ-like redeeming figure, but more primitive, pre-Christ-like, and not necessarily benevolent. She restores the proper order to people gone astray like the corrupted coven, and her disowning her mother is throwing off the masculine Christ redemption and a return to the more essential maternal savior. And then he's like, they drew parallels between Nazism, communism, and the corrupted coven throughout the movie, as well as explicitly when the old man talks about how they're similar. I mean, there is a scene where he's basically like, much like the Nazis, they use propaganda and blah, 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 blah. And then he says, they're all transgressions against the essential mother from which the main character is the salvation. So that kind of makes sense to me because there is a lot of mother stuff in there.
Yes.
There's one weird thing in particular where, and that was a jumbled text, so forgive any, obviously that wasn't a fucking well-written paragraph, but
it was fine.
There are parts in there where it's like there's a big thing with her mom who's like sick back in the US or whatever. And it's like, part of you is like, what the fuck is going on?
They do a thing where they sort of, they cut scenes before you get an answer to a question, which helps lead intrigue. Because like, I didn't know why we were spending time with this dying family, or this dying woman in the Midwest.
Right.
And then much, much later in the movie, you get an answer to that.
They showed her as a kid right at the beginning.
I can't quite remember.
So long, it's so hard to keep it. That's true. That's why I docked it to a minus, because there was shit like that.
I would say that, and you might get pissed at me for this, but the beginning of this movie I found more intriguing and more engaging than Hereditary.
Don't say Hereditary.
Yep.
Oh no.
I was on board with this movie. I was actually really, really on board with this movie.
Well, that's what's funny is because as this movie was like the first hour, I was like, oh, this might be like one of my favorite movies I've sat through in a while.
Yeah.
Like this could make my list.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it would make my list by the end.
Yeah.
But it was good and it was different. And from what I hear, it's not a ripoff of the original. Like if you go watch the original, it's an entirely different movie, which that's the kind of remake I'm interested in, because if I've seen the original, I have no interest in seeing like the Omen remake.
New take.
New take. Just take the basic idea.
Yes.
Okay. And then do something completely fucking different. Do it as you're paying homage to whoever made the first one, but you're not going to just completely rip off their ideas.
Quite possibly. I mean, there were a lot of like great scenes. We're talking about you being a scene guy. There were a lot of great scenes in there. Anytime that Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton were in a scene, was great.
Yes. Tilda Swinton is perfect as the the matriarch dance. She
was fantastic. I loved the scene maybe, and it's probably the most disturbing scene in the movie.
I know what you're gonna say,
but it's probably the coolest was when Dakota Johnson is dancing, and they appear to have put a spell on her that when she dances, there was a previous dancer who had left her position and she calls them all witches before she leaves position. She's trying to leave the dance studio.
Right.
She gets locked in a room, and as Dakota Johnson is dancing, her body is being contorted in horrific ways.
It's disgusting. Very well done. It looks very good.
Yes. Though I will say I don't want to say it's all downhill from there as far as like disgusting but
that was the shock moment of the movie.
Yes. Once you see that, nothing I'd say reaches that height.
I would
again.
100% agree with you. Because we've all seen like blood and shit. This was like something really cleverly done. There is the ending is like a big bloody massacre type weird fucking scene, which by the way, Tilda Swinton also played
the demon.
The woman who was the actual matriarch of the family.
Okay. So
of the dance studio that Tilda Swinton is like always coming in second in votes to like lead the crew. But there's this woman. Yeah.
Or what, Blanc?
And I liked the scene where the girls leave all the women like who run the shit are at dinner.
Yeah.
And they're speaking to each other just using like telepathy or whatever.
Yep, that was great.
And they're like, we should look like we're having a good time, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So they're like having this laughing conversation that you would see a big group of ladies have.
Yeah.
But really, like the whole conversation they're having at the table, like the real conversation is fake. It's just a cover for the conversation they're having with each other in their heads.
Absolutely.
Which I can't remember seeing that in a lot. If I've seen that before, it's been a while.
That was really good.
It was very clever.
I really liked the opening scene with Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
And the
doctor
I guess,
man,
and Tilda Swinton, I guess. But I mean, that was actually one of my favorite scenes because I really liked the way it was shot.
Yes.
And I really liked her acting.
Like kind of meandering around the room.
She's meandering around the room. And she does this great, and it's great things too. Like it sets up like the idea of mirrors and stuff in there. And I feel like the mirrors probably have something to do with sort of like, Aaron was talking about, you've got the mother there. You've also got the relationship between mothers and daughters in this.
Yes.
And it's kind of hereditary a little bit in that, like, it very much seems like the idea of like mothers want you to be what they are.
Right. Yeah.
Because I sort of got the idea that the real matriarchy, Marcus or whatever, wanted to steal the girl's body.
Yeah, that was kind of what I thought was happening.
One of the two.
Right.
And it's sort of interesting that they never make it explicit.
No, they don't. They don't. I mean, even like at the end, Tilda Swinton's character, the main character she plays, is kind of like something's not right here.
Yes.
And it's weird. The way that plays out is strange.
That was actually, even though I'd sort of been lost on the, I don't know what act it was. It was maybe 4 or 5 where I was like, can we get to it? Or maybe it was 3 even, because 1 and 2 were great. They really got me into the movie.
It's going to be interesting to watch this again for me. I'm going to have a good time watching this again, I think.
But when they reveal that she's really like the mother, like this ancient spirit, that was a really cool reveal.
It was well done.
Because you felt it as the audience. You were like, she is way too like aloof.
Well, and she kind of comes in to the like
she's
it's
almost
weird.
floating.
I'm interesting to watch. I'm very interested to like watch this and try and figure out like when did Dakota Johnson kind of like figure out,
right?
You know what I'm saying? At what point was she just like, okay, I figured out that this is fucked,
right? And
I'm going to just.
It's a good question.
And does she have any control over it?
That's a really, really good question because she, I don't think she knows when she dances and contorts that woman.
I don't think so either.
But I think right around the time when, like the devil or whatever puts its hand on the ceiling,
that was
she's
fucking awesome. By the way,
cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that's one of those things where I think of things from like a writing perspective, and I'm like, okay. it's not the way I would have gone with it.
Sure.
And so in that regard, I'm like, I feel like we could have done something else here. Though I liked the epilogue. The epilogue turned it around a little bit for me.
What did you think of when, what's her name, the friend, goes downstairs and finds, like, Chloe Grace Moretz, like...
Whoa.
Yeah.
As, like, an old woman, and she says, I wake up here every day?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I thought that was really well done. Like, there's a scene where, like, a cop comes to investigate the school, and they, like, take him in the back, and really fucking creepy and weird.
Yeah, because the witches, they put them in, like, a trance, because these dudes are actually looking for Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
And they're like, hey, where is she? And they're like, oh, well, come here. And then they put him in a trance, and they, like, pull down one of the dude's pants and laugh at his
play
penis.
with his penis, yeah.
And they're just like, they're like these three witches. They're just woo, laughing, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the one witch who's like kind of off, like must not think what they're doing is okay, and ends up killing herself, like stabbing herself in the neck.
And they were freaking out because they couldn't stop her.
I liked that because like they set her up like, oh, she's gonna be like this big character who does some like, oh, she just killed herself. It was
amazing to me because like she has no lines, I don't think, in the entire movie.
No, I don't think so either.
But instantly I'm like, I like this character just because she's one of the only people there that seems to have a problem with what's going on.
Seems to have a problem and has her own personality. I mean, let's be honest.
Most
of the witches are just outside of Tilda Swinton and her are just kind of like shitty people.
Yeah. I do feel like there was probably some stuff that could be said about like sexuality in this, because there was like there was quite a bit of sexual.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
stuff in there.
Yeah, and it's a very like women empowerment kind of. I don't know. It's just fucking weird.
It's kind of women empowerment because it's all women, but then also at the same time the movie's like, well, but you get a bunch of women together and there's a coven, so...
Yeah, I suppose. You're right.
I mean, it sort of wants to have its cake and eat it too, sort of thing. I mean, it does. It reminds me of Hereditary in that I'm like, shot composition, acting,
I thought the score was good. The music was good.
Yeah. I love me some 80s, and there was a scene where Tilda Swinton was... she was trying to get Dakota Johnson to do some higher jumps or whatever.
Yep.
And they kind of put some 80s synth in there, and I was like, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a weird movie.
It was a weird movie.
It was fucking weird. If you like weird shit, this is a good one.
Yeah, like I said, it's fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I did get a little bored in the middle.
Yeah,
though.
I'd say A-. I didn't love it. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed myself. And that's not to say that all of it really makes much sense.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there thinking, as a theater experience, I was impressed. I did not expect to like it this much.
Right.
I thought it's a remake. I know, from what I understand, the reviews haven't been stellar. They haven't been bad.
No.
They're kind of like in that rotten or fresh range, I believe.
It's at 60% right now.
Okay. So, yeah, that would be kind of what I would expect, I guess.
This is a movie that is not for everyone. And I think I'm more in the camp of who it's not.
Okay.
Even though I respect the artistry.
Sure. There you go. But yeah, a movie that is for everyone.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I enjoyed the show. I write songs. Our lead singer just quit. Then you'll need someone new.
I love the way you move on stage. The whole room belongs to you. Don't you see what you could be?
No one will play us on the radio. We need to get experimental.
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me.
This one is annoying for me.
Really?
I was annoyed by this.
Okay.
To me, this is a missed opportunity. I'm not going to say the movie's bad.
Right.
It's just very, very paint by numbers.
It's safe.
Rise and fall of Rockstar.
Safe.
Nothing. I don't know much about
Freddie
Queen
Mercury.
or Freddie Mercury or
Right.
any of that shit. This didn't make me feel like I knew much more. I mean, it's almost like it's like the cliff notes of his life. Like all of a sudden they're in a scene where it's like, oh, this is how we wrote,
Yes.
We Will Rock You, or this is how he got his record deal. And it's like this little like skit
Yeah.
almost.
That was I would say the problem with for me was because you had seen this before me and you text me, it was paint by numbers, same, whatever. And so I'm walking in and I'm like, okay, I'm sort of expecting that. I'm expecting a C kind of movie. And the beginning, I had quite a few problems with the beginning because it's so fast.
Yes, it's terribly fast.
He's in Queen in the band.
Yep.
Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and you have almost no sense of the character.
And it's so easy for him to get the band the band, and the band is big. Like the band is already successful.
And it's kind of this weird thing. Like they kind of have like a little bit of like a central narrative, but it took me a while to sort of figure out what the main theme of the movie was, and it was about being yourself,
sure,
that whole thing. But I was like, he seemed to be being himself at the beginning of the movie. It seemed like he only
he's not learning how to become a person who is himself.
It seemed like he was himself. Then he got to be really who he wanted to be because they started making money and becoming popular.
Right.
Then he lost his way, and then he got to be himself again. That seemed to be what it was.
It sounds like every fucking... Well, it's funny because I couldn't help but sit there and think of A Star Is Born, even though that's a fictional character. Mm-hmm. But I'm just thinking of like, that movie's great. Mm. And this movie is a real rock star that you could actually go like get interesting stories. And now I've heard that 2 of the band members were consultants on this and that they didn't want them to be too mean
to Freddie?
With Freddie Mercury,
right?
Which I feel like maybe could have been the cause of some of this.
I agree. You said the word when you texted me. You said safe.
Safe, yes, safe.
I agree because at the beginning, it was so weird because they were trying to introduce his homosexuality.
Yeah, they do it in like weird things where he like watches someone.
He watched a trucker get out of their truck at a truck stop, and then he looks at the men's like door close as the guy's going into the bathroom. And you're like, that's how we reveal that he's gay?
I'm assuming that's when I'm assuming he had sex with that guy. You can only assume,
and
right?
And that was my thing. Is I was like, he's so right. This is safe because if you want me to know.
That he
show
goes
him going to the bathroom.
Yeah, and you don't even have to show him, banging the dude.
But at least I get the idea. Otherwise, it's just like if I didn't know he was gay, I'd be like, does he have to go to the bathroom? What is he thinking about?
Yeah, and I'm sure. Well, then that's the other thing about this movie is there's a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
What grade do you give it before I even start?
Well, I actually haven't gone on my full journey. I thought the first act was pretty
we'll
weak.
Let you. Okay.
I thought the first act was pretty weak. I thought it found its footing after sort of the midpoint.
Okay.
Once he finds out that he has AIDS, it's a pretty...
It's more interesting.
It's a pretty good... Well, no, actually, it's a little bit before that. It becomes a little better.
Like when the conflict happens with the band and shit?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
I would agree with that.
Even though it's paint by numbers... It becomes more interesting because the conflict feels more real.
I thought the best, agreeing with you, the beginning is bad.
Yeah.
The ending for me doesn't really work.
It becomes a little too much of a concert.
Yeah. And there's we'll wait for spoilers.
Right.
But the middle part, like with the cartoon, and this is an insult on the movie, but his cartoon character, like friend/lover guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand that character.
Yep.
That's not a real person.
Two-dimensional.
Right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that part was probably the best.
Yeah.
Like, when he's kind of going off the deep end.
Yeah.
And having troubles with his, his ex-fiance.
Right.
His beard, so to speak, as they call them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I would give the movie a C.
I'd give it probably a B minus or a B because I can't, and it's almost cheating because the music is so great. And Freddie Mercury and oh God, what's the guy's name who plays him?
Oh Jesus, Rami Malek.
Rami Malek does I think he does a great performance.
He's no Digimon.
I think he gives a great performance, but I don't think he's given a ton. Like I feel like the script really needed some work.
He's fine. It's funny because like people are talking about how great he was. Like, oh, the movie's bad, but Rami Malek is great. It's like
I wouldn't call the movie. I wouldn't even call the movie.
I don't think
bad.
the movie's bad either. I think if you were expecting like this really like think about like Walk the Line about fucking Johnny Cash, like Ray with Jamie Foxx, like great fucking movies.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere close to that.
No, it's just, and it goes back to what you said. It's too broad of a time period. It's too cliff notey. It felt like this was somebody who loved Freddie Mercury and loved Queen, and they couldn't figure out what to cut. So they're just like, I'm going to put it all in, but it's all going to be 2-minute snippets.
Really boring. Yeah, right. It is. It's very like,
and that bothered me, but it's cheating because the music
is good.
Queen is great. I mean, the way I would put it is Bohemian Rhapsody as a song is maybe one of the greatest songs of all time, maybe the greatest song of all time, and this movie does not come close to living up to that.
And even like the musical stuff, like it's great because it's Queen and it's great music.
Yeah.
Now, they don't like when there's performances in this, they don't feel like real performances, like again how they did in like A Star Is Born, where you felt like you were watching like a real concert. Like you got that concert feel. To me, this didn't have that.
There were moments of that. One of my favorite scenes was when he shows it's when he comes out to his wife.
Okay, yep.
But at first he shows her the tape of like thousands of people singing the lyrics back to him.
Yes.
As he's, on stage. And I was like, that's one of the greatest concert moments ever, is when you go to a band and you get to sing it back to them and you're part of like this 1,000-person choir. So that moment reminded me of a concert, and the concert at the end of the movie felt like that at certain
CGI
points.
Fucking fest.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's CGI
That's the problem.
fest. And spoilers, fuck it.
Okay.
So that scene bothered me because like you have the fucking cheesy bullshit of like going to the call center where they're getting the donations and they're like, nobody's calling. Nobody's calling.
Yep.
And then 10 minutes into Queen's set, they're like, we got to £1 million. It was just like, come the fuck on. This is a fucking cartoon.
It's a movie. It's a movie,
Yeah, but you're making like a dramatic biopic about a drug-addicted fucking singer who got AIDS and died.
It gets a little sappy and it gets a little saccharine at the end.
Well,
I'll
and
agree.
his lover that he died, I forget the guy's name, but the guy who was like the butler at the one house party he had.
They did not set that up for that to be like the great love of his life at the end of his life.
No, he shows up at the end at the guy's house and he's like, oh,
this is unwarranted.
Yeah. Now I'm just railing on it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to continue.
It's fine.
The relationship between him and his dad, I thought, was very poorly executed.
It was not given enough screen time.
Well, the first scene was just like every fucking movie. The disapproving father and the fucking son who, whatever, same shit. And then all of a sudden at the end, like, they hug it out.
Yep.
And it was like, what the fuck?
It just goes back
here?
to it's sort of like it's like a house built on shitty.
It's like you're missing shit.
Yeah, it's built on a shitty foundation because that first act is so incredibly weak and breezy and fast that nothing has time to cement and actually work.
Yeah, that's true. Especially that dad thing.
Because the first scene, like you said, he's leaving his house and he says something along the lines of like, I'm going to go out and, because his name isn't Freddie by birth. It's like Fruchit or something like
he's an Indian dude or whatever, right?
Which I didn't know. And I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't know that about him. But he's like, oh, what does it matter, what your name is if you're just going to go out and, waste your life? And he's like, he says something to his dad along the lines of like, how did that work out for you? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, that's such a movie line because you would get kicked out of your house if your dad was this much of an ass if you said that to him. Like,
well,
I'm sorry.
And I'm sitting there like, well, the guy seems to have like a full intact, like happy family. Like, how did it work out for him? I mean, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know enough about this guy to say this isn't working out for what? Because he's not a fucking rock star? Like it didn't work out for him?
Right.
And then I'm sitting, and then everything else they're giving you about Freddie, because that scene's kind of like, oh, Freddie's being a dick.
Yeah.
Everyone's being a dick, and Freddie's being a dick too.
Yep.
And then, but then Freddie's like a great guy. Like
it's
it's very poorly.
It's so weird because I do find at times that I found that Freddy was actually a little unlikable.
Oh, absolutely.
And then like I said, like it's,
but he was
it's like
supposed to be in the middle of the movie,
right? But it's like it took the AIDS and the losing of his. I did feel really bad for him when like he bought the house for his ex-fiance.
Yes,
she lives across.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary. Yeah. And like they do that like turn the light on scene, and I can see you. I was like, you are so incredibly alone. Like, and I felt bad for him. I did.
It's true.
Like, and there are times in this movie, even though he can be a dick, I did feel bad for him. And
I felt bad for him, and I will. Okay, big positive that I liked. I liked the idea that like he had AIDS, but he didn't want to make the end of his life about him having AIDS. He kind of just told the band like, "Look, I have AIDS. I want to concentrate on music.
I don't want to be their poster boy."
Right. I like that.
Or their cautionary tale.
I like that.
I liked that. I did like the scene when he threw the cartoon character out of his life.
Yeah, but it was just so like the cartoon character shows up.
Well, it's a little cliche too because it's raining at the time too.
So, and she happens to show up, and he shows up with like this.
This movie is kind of broken on a script level.
No, there's no I am sure you could make a really, really like walk the line quality.
Yes.
Because to me, like that is my like that's my like blueprint for a movie like this, because I thought Walk the Line was amazing. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have Joaquin Phoenix, and you know,
goes a long way.
But that was like, and you'll have, I can't remember if that was like a huge like thing of his life, or if that was just like a chunk.
They did some I feel like they did some flashbacks, but this was actually more so about like later in his life,
right?
Like reconciling with his wife or whatever.
So I bet you there's a really good Freddie Mercury movie that's like just about like AIDS, post-AIDS, or the beginning of Queen, or you know,
they needed to pick a time period. That was the big thing, is like, because this movie covers like what, 18, 20 years?
The entirety of Queen.
Well, it doesn't go until he dies, because this ends.
True.
Was it 85?
It ends with the Live Aid show for Save African Children, Hunger, or whatever.
That was 85, I believe.
Okay. Well, yeah. Either way, it's too much time, and yeah. I mean, I like the end part. Like you said it, like the whole relationship he has with Dan or Dave or whatever the fuck the guy's name was. It's just that carried no emotional weight for me, that relationship, because he didn't do anything.
I agree. I mean, it was nice to see
that he was happy with someone.
It was nice to see that he had somebody, because you just, at that point, you're like,
yeah, but you're being told in like a blurb at the end. You're not actually seeing the relationship on screen.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't emotionally affected at the end of the movie.
I'm glad he was happy and he found someone he wasn't alone.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the theme of the movie, is that he's got all these people that love him, but he's alone as fuck.
Yep. And I loved the scene because I did not, in all honesty, I didn't know how much because the perception of Queen in reality is that he wrote those songs. It was all Freddie Mercury, and it was nice to see who wrote
the
what.
Star, yeah.
It's nice to see like the other band members get their credit. I got to learn a little bit more about their personalities.
Well, again, so they were like, "Hey, we wrote that song.
Right.
We got to put that in the movie."
But I do think the nice thing is he has the meeting, the sit down, the reconciliation.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need you and you need me. And like, that was it was a nice thing. It was a nice thing to see.
And I love the idea that like he had this band that would do everything that he told them to do. And that was the problem.
Yeah.
Because you need, George Lucas, you need people to fight back when you have bad ideas.
You need collaborators.
Right.
You don't need slaves.
Yes.
Yeah, I completely, I mean, as a creative person, that scene really spoke to me, because I'm like, you do need those people to give you the pushback, because they make you search harder for things.
Now I know why you're such an asshole when I have suggestions for the podcast.
Absolutely.
And it just makes the podcast stronger.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say about this one. I really don't.
I wish I did. You're right. It's kind of a failure in that Queen is one of the legendary bands, and they get a ho-hum movie out of it.
Yeah, you got a paint by number. This seems like something that's a really, really well made, like Lifetime original movie.
There was a moment. There was a specific moment in this where I was like, oh, okay. So they're going on tour. They finally, it's the first tour they're going on as Queen. They're going to America. And it's that scene where all like the text is sort of coming at you.
Yep.
And it shows you like the cities and whatnot. And as that was happening, I was like, this is the movie that I watch on Saturday afternoon on cable when there's nothing else on. That's what this movie is.
It is. It's yeah. Well, and here's what I'll say. General audiences, I think, will really like this.
They do. This has I forget what this has on Rotten Tomatoes, but
it's very high, I would assume.
It's lower with the critics. In fact, I think it might be rotten with the critics, and with the audience, it is like 85%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, and I should put an addendum on that. It's the movie that you watch on Saturday on cable, but then it rises slightly above that at the end.
Sure.
But at that point, it was that movie. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. C plus, B minus. I'm going to go with a B minus, and I'm going to go with a C plus for Suspiria. I did like Bohemian a little bit more because I felt something.
Hold on, you went C plus for Suspiria.
Suspiria.
Hold on, C minus for Suspiria.
No, C.
Oh,
C
you like
plus.
Suspiria better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
B minus for Bohemian.
Okay,
C plus.
This gets into the B's for you. I'm shocked.
It's barely a B.
It's like a low B minus.
I can't help it, but the ending made me feel things.
Yeah, no, see, I'm a C. I'm not going to let those stupid emotions get the better of me.
I will say, it's kind of like my heart versus my head thing on this movie. Because my head's like, yeah, but it became a concert at the end, Alex.
And
like,
it looked like fucking Tatooine in episode 1. Like
yes,
the pod race
the
crowd.
CG was not good. The CG was not good. But at the end, I'm like, yeah, but I fucking love those songs, man.
They're pretty good.
But
very cheap, though. I mean, how do you not make that good?
I know. It's such a... And you're just watching Rami Malek on the stage. You're like, dude, you are kind of nailing it here. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, what did you think? Okay, last thing about the movie.
Okay.
I was distracted, and I know that fucking Freddie had those teeth.
Right.
But I was distracted, and I felt like the actor was too. I felt like Remy, like...
I actually felt like they actually kind of worked.
Oh, God, it bothered me.
It bothered me.
He's like looking at... Maybe he did in real life, though. I don't know.
That was my thing, is I was watching the beginning, and he seemed uncomfortable with them.
Right.
And as the movie went on, he seemed to own it more.
Okay.
So that was my read on it.
Yeah, it didn't look right to me. But if I had never seen Rami Malek before, maybe it would have worked better. I don't know. But he was good.
He was good.
He'll probably get nominated for shit.
Yeah,
I don't think he deserves to be, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, he's no Bradley Cooper.
Right.
But it was still a good performance. I've seen far worse this year. Far worse.
You think? You think?
I think he'll get nominated, and
I think he will too.
I mean, how many people get nominated? I mean,
I think like 4 or 5 or something.
Okay. Well, at this point, maybe he deserves it. He'd be a squeak in for me.
All right. Well, what do we have next week, Alex?
We have got The Grinch, Overlord, and the girl in the spider tattoo.
The girl
spider web.
The spider tattoo dragon web.
Yeah, that is. In my opinion, that's terrible marketing and terrible branding.
I'm so confused. Yeah,
is this girl in the what?
But yeah, I'm excited for Overlord. So,
we'll see about Overlord. It's so weird. I saw a preview for that before Suspiria, and I was like, this is not the crowd to show this to.
It doesn't look good in the trailer, but
No.
I'm hearing it's good.
Yeah,
so
89% currently.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I am expecting The Grinch to be a giant pile of shit.
All right. Well, maybe we should save The Grinch for a Christmas episode next month.
Maybe. If it's still here's the thing. It might not be in.
We can see it. We can see it whenever.
Oh, okay. I got you.
We could do like a Christmas classics episode too, with like the Christmas Vacation or a Christmas Story.
How about
Rudolph
Rudolph
the
the
Red-Nosed
Red-Nosed
Reindeer? You want to be a dentist?
I'm gonna be a dick, is what I'm gonna be.
Oh, really?
I bet you those don't hold up at all.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you it's all sentiment and all garbage. We'll see.
Like that little dentist.
Maybe. I hope I'm wrong. But that's been another episode of Bored and Annoyed, guys.
Yeah. Until next week.
Have a great one.